Hello there, welcome to my frosty cold garden. It's in the morning and there's been a frost overnight, so as you can see all the layers have got this icy layer to them, and I'm going to do a bit of ice art today with you. So you're going to need a few things if you want to join me. If you're going out in a weather like this, you need a woolly hat and a coat. Definitely keep yourself warm. But we're also going to need some water, some different kind of trays, bowls, things like that. That doesn't matter if it gets really cold, possibly going in the freezer. Some string and some scissors. Okay, and we're going to make some ice art. So first of all, we need to go and find some things to put in our ice to make it look interesting and pretty. So let's go and see what we can find. So I've collected lots of little bits and pieces, and as you might have seen, I have taken some things off of the plants. Now before you go picking actual plants, you do need to ask an adult, so you know what you're allowed to take and what you're not, okay? Because not everything's good to pick, so make sure you ask an adult. But the rest of the things I just picked up off of the floor, and we'll have a look at what I found, shall we? If I put them down here, let's have a look. So I've just picked up different leaves that were on the floor that have fallen off. As I said, I've picked some plants, little leaves off plants. I've just picked up some grass and some little bits of moss there off of the lawn. Now I've got an oak tree in the garden next to me, so I picked up some little acorn cases there, and I actually managed to find some old acorns as well, so I put those in my bowl. I've got some bits of wood and some twigs, and all we need to do now is arrange them in the bottom of our bowls. So we don't want it to be too high because we want it to freeze quite easily and to hang it up. So we're going to put about that much water in it once we filled it up with our leaves and that. And I'll show you what we do after that. So if you want to just watch, I'm just going to decorate my bowls. So I've got different sized and different shapes here just to see what happens. And we just want to lay whatever you want in the bottom. Now what I have found is the smaller the things, the better it is. So I'm going to break up some of my bigger leaves. So I've just got little bits. You can do it however you want, and that's the beauty of this. Every single one's going to be completely different. Bit of moss in there. Right, so they're all filled up with my leaves and things that I found in the garden. Now I just need to carefully pour a little bit of water in them. Doesn't have to cover all the things, but you want to make sure that some of it is in the water, because that's what's going to hold it in place. So kind of just trying to cover maybe the leaves. Some things might float as well. So what do you think is going to stay still and what's going to float? And you could experiment, fill some up more than others, see which works best. Right, there we go, fantastic. Just going to push some of the leaves down so I know that they're covered. That one's floating, so I'm going to turn that one upside down so it's sitting in it. There we go. Lovely. Now the next thing is we need to make some hooks so that we can hang them up when they come out. So I'm just going to cut some of this string to different lengths. Okay, so I've just been cutting the string and I've got 7 different pieces. I'm going to fold them over so I've got a loop at one end, and the loop's going to stay out of the water and the 2 ends is going to go in the water. So I need to just try and get them in the water. Oh, easier said than done. So you need to try and make sure that the loop is staying out of the water. There we go, my last one. Now, the only thing we have to do now is let it freeze. So I'm going to leave some of these out overnight outside to see if it will freeze outside, because it's supposed to be very cold tonight. And a couple I'm going to go and pop into my freezer. So some I'm going to pop in the freezer, some I'm going to leave outside overnight. So this is the boring bit because you've got to wait for it to freeze. But come and join me in a day, be on this video, and we'll see what's happened. See you in a minute. Hello again. So, like a lot of experiments, they don't always go to plan, and you might be able to see we're back in my garden the next day and there's no frost around. So what's happened is, over the day yesterday the weather started to heat up, the temperature went higher, and there's no frost today. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the ones I left outside are still very, very wet. I don't know if you can see that. They've still got the water, they didn't freeze at all, so it's still got the water in the bits there. So not quite what we wanted. Thankfully though, if you remember, I was going to put some in the freezer inside, and those have frozen. So this is what we end up with if I take the string, and we've got our lovely hangers. Can you see that? And it's got all the leaves and the twigs and everything inside there. And the idea is I'm now going to hang them up somewhere in the garden. I'll find a hook or a tree or somewhere where I can hang them, and I can watch them melting. So that was that one. There's another one. So you've got a big acorn cup in the top of that one. I think they're great, and they're lovely to watch and see if they're melting. I did my own experiments as well inside, and I thought I'd use some water that had been boiled in the kettle just to see if that made any difference. As you can see in there, I actually put a slice of lime and some, these are old blueberries, they were actually going off, so I was either going to throw them away, and I've got some herbs in there as well. So this one actually smells really nice because it smells of all those things. So we'll hang them up and we'll see what happens. Have a go at making some of yourself.